In case you missed out on the major local and international news updates within the week, worry no more because we've got you covered. Join us on First Next News for a complete highlight of important stories from Nigeria and around the world. You can follow us on our YouTube channel at First Next News for full news reports.
Welcome to the news at the hour on First Next News Port Harcourt. First, we bring you the headlines. Federal government releases new curriculum for basic and senior secondary schools. Nigeria's Civil Aviation Authority summons all domestic airlines to a meeting in Abuja over flight disruptions. INEC vows action as Orobo and Ijaw protest ward delineation. And on the foreign scene, Ethiopia inaugurates Africa's biggest dam. Bringing the news at the hour is Zach Jimmy. Now the news in details. The federal government has released the approved subject offerings for Nigeria's newly revised basic and senior secondary education curriculum. The list announced by the Ministry of Education in a statement yesterday is aimed at reducing subject overload, strengthening skills acquisition, and aligning the education system with global standards. Minister of Education Tunji Alausa, alongside Minister of State for Education Professor Shuaibu Ahmad, said the reforms followed wide consultations with the Nigerian Educational Research and Development Council, NERDC, WAEC, NECO, NBTE, NAPTEP, and other key stakeholders. Under the revised curriculum, pupils in primary 1 to 3 will now take between 9 and 10 subjects. For primary 4 to 6, the load increases to between 11 and 13 subjects with the inclusion of basic digital literacy, pre-vocational studies, and French as an optional subject. At the junior secondary school level, JSS 1 to 3, students will be offered 12 to 14 subjects with the addition of digital technologies, business studies, and a compulsory trade subject. The senior secondary school curriculum now mandates 5 core subjects, namely English language, general language, mathematics, 1 trade subject, citizenship and heritage studies, and digital technologies. Moving on to another news where we have here that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has reiterated his administration's commitment to transforming Nigeria's health sector, emphasizing the urgent need to address the long-standing challenges that have hindered effective healthcare delivery. According to the president, the government is determined to pursue innovative solutions that will directly tackle the hydra-headed problems confronting the sector, with a special focus on improving the enabling environment for hospitals, clinics, and research institutions. The president, represented by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, at the National Stakeholders Dialogue on Power in the Health Sector held at the Ladi Kwali Hall, Continental Hotel, Abuja, assured Nigerians that his administration is working assiduously to promote sustainable energy solutions to power medical facilities nationwide. He added that these efforts are part of a broader plan to restore confidence in public healthcare, improve outcomes, and ensure that quality services are accessible to all citizens regardless of their social or economic status. In the FCTA, we have a report here that Nancy Nathan has been appointed as the acting head of service of the Federal Capital Territory Administration FCTA. From reports, the appointment is pending the confirmation of a substantive head of service. Lere Olayinka, the senior special assistant on public communications and social media to the FCT minister Nyesom Wike, announced this in a statement yesterday, saying the appointment is with immediate effect. Nathan's appointment followed the death of Grace Adayilo, the former FCTA head of service. Until a new appointment, Nathan was the permanent secretary of the Youth Development Secretariat of the Federal Capital Territory Administration. Still ahead, some leaders from Warri Federal Constituency yesterday staged a protest at the headquarters of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in Abuja. The protesters, carrying various placards with inscriptions, argued that the ongoing continuous voter registration (CVR) was not done in accordance with the recently concluded delineation. According to reports, the demonstrators want the electoral umpire to immediately release the final reports of the Supreme Court order delineating electoral registration areas, wards, and polling units in the Warri Federal Constituency. To them, the release and implementation of these records will help them to participate in the ongoing voter registration. In a follow-up report, the Independent and National Electoral Commission (INEC) has pledged to review demands from protesting Urobo and Ijaw communities in Delta State following a peaceful demonstration at its national headquarters in Abuja. The protest was in response to the Commission's delay in implementing a Supreme Court-ordered delineation of electoral wards and polling units in the Warri Federal Constituency. The demonstrators representing Warri North, Warri South, and Warri Southwest local government areas submitted a petition to INEC Chairman Mahmood Yakubu, warning that the ongoing voter registration in the area without legitimate electoral structures violated their constitutional rights and the Supreme Court judgment delivered on December 2, 2022. According to reports, the petition was received on behalf of the Commission by INEC National Commissioner Professor Abdullahi Zuru and Secretary to the Commission Rose Orairo Anthony, who praised the protesters for their peaceful conduct and assured them that their concerns will be treated with the seriousness it deserves. Let's move now straight to the aviation sector, where we have a report here that the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority (NCAA) has summoned all domestic airlines to a meeting in Abuja over flight disruptions. NCAA Director of Public Relations and Consumer Protection, Michael Achimogu, announced this in a statement today via his X handle, saying the meeting will be held tomorrow at the NCAA headquarters. He stated that among the issues to be addressed are unruly passenger behavior and passenger handling protocols, unresolved refund, compensation issues, introduction of RFID bag tags and flight monitoring technology, enforcement of phone switch-off instruction and protection for cabin crew, as well as improved travel experience for passengers. The summon comes barely 24 hours after Achimogu said the regulatory authority had the mandate of the federal government to begin naming and shaming airlines that delay and cancel flights, especially at odd hours, without providing the right comfort for the stranded passengers as stipulated in Part 19 of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Regulations. Away from that to another report where we have here that a former lawmaker representing Kogi West Senatorial District, Senator Dino Melaye, has declared that the People's Democratic Party is dead and buried, alleging that the party is now under the control of the All Progressive Congress (APC). Speaking in an interview on a television studio, Melaye dismissed any hopes of revival for the opposition party, saying it no longer operates independently. Dino, who previously contested under the PDP platform, accused unnamed agents of the APC of infiltrating and steering the affairs of the party from the presidential villa. The former senator, however, stated that he is no longer a member of the People's Democratic Party, has now pitched his tent with the African Democratic Congress, which he described as the platform capable of defeating President Bola Tinubu's APC government in the next general elections. Over now to Abia State, where we have a report here that the chairman of the African Democratic Congress (ADC) in Abia State, Mr. Don Norman Obinna, has accused some partners in the state of making efforts to destabilize the coalition for their selfish interests. Obinna, who stated this while addressing the Aba North chapter of the ADC in Aba, also dismissed allegations leveled against him by some coalition partners and members who allegedly suspended him from the party. He explained rather that those behind his alleged suspension lack the power to do so, as they failed to follow the constitution of the ADC. Obinna further dismissed the allegation of selling 2 buses belonging to the party and collecting money to appoint people to party offices as lies fabricated by these distractors, because he has refused to allow them hijack the party in the state. He concluded by saying the ADC is ready for the 2027 polls as it now boasts of 10,000 registered members from the 12 political wards in the areas. Coming up next is foreign, business and sports. Do stay tuned. Thank you for staying tuned. Now to the rest of the news. On the foreign scene, Ethiopia inaugurated the continent's largest hydroelectric project yesterday, with Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed calling it a great achievement for all black people, despite years of diplomatic rancor over the dam with downstream neighbor Egypt. For Ethiopia, the Grand Renaissance Dam, which is GERD, straddling a tributary of the River Nile, is a national project of historic scale and a rare unifying symbol in a country torn apart by ongoing internal conflict. From reports, the $4 billion mega structure is designed to hold 74 billion cubic meters of water and generate 5,150 megawatts of electricity, more than double Ethiopia's current capacity. Prime Minister Abiy at the opening ceremony, attended by regional leaders including Kenyan President William Ruto and Somalia's President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, said GERD will be remembered as a great achievement not only for Ethiopia but for the entire black people. Over now to business, where we have a report here that the Nigerian Sport Authority (NPA) has cautioned 4 terminal operators at the Apapa Port Complex for violating environmental standards within the facility. The port manager, Mr. Debo Lawal, disclosed this in an interview with journalists in Lagos yesterday, describing managing the port as both challenging and rewarding, requiring daily attention to operational, environmental, and security concerns. According to him, effective port administration demands preparedness and proactive solutions to address the wide-ranging issues that arise. As part of his efforts to enforce environmental sustainability, Lawal revealed that 4 terminals had recently been issued warning letters for breaching lease agreement for contributing to pollution within the port. Over now to the exciting world of sports, where we have a report here that Nottingham Forest has today appointed Angin Poteschlo as manager to replace Nuno Espirito Santo, who was sacked following a dispute with club owners Evangelos Mariankis. Recall that Nuno led Forest to European qualification for the first time in 30 years last season by finishing 7th in the Premier League table. According to reports, Greek-born Poteschlo will take charge of Forest, who sits 10th in the Premier League table on 4 points after 3 games for the first time in Saturday's daunting trip to Arsenal. Marianakis is, however, hoping he can repeat his Europa League success with Forest among the favourites to win the competition. And that's it in the news at the hour, but before we go, a recap of the major stories. In the news, we brought to you that the federal government has released the approved subject offerings for Nigeria's newly revised basic and senior secondary education curriculum. We also informed you that the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority (NCAA) has summoned all domestic airlines to a meeting in Abuja over flight disruptions. We also told you that the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has pledged to review demands from protesting Orobo and Ijaw communities in Delta State following a peaceful demonstration at its national headquarters in Abuja. On the foreign scene, we told you that Ethiopia has inaugurated the continent's largest hydroelectric project yesterday, with Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed calling it a great achievement for all black people, despite years of diplomatic rancor over the dam with downstream neighbor Egypt. For more newsworthy events, comments and observations, follow us on our YouTube channel at First Next News. And that's the news at the hour, as presented by Zach Jimmy. Thank you very much for listening.
In case you've missed out on the major local and international news updates within the week, worry no more, because we've got you covered. Join us on First Next News for a complete highlight of important stories from Nigeria and around the world. You can follow us on our YouTube channel at First Next News for full news reports.